Hello, everyone, MBH fans and friends. Welcome to a very, very special episode of Make Believe Heroes. You may notice my voice sounds a little different. That's because I am away from home. I'm using a little travel mic that I take with me in case of emergencies. And you may also have noticed that this episode is out 2 full days early. That's because, well, it's mostly because I love you guys. It's secondly because I know we've been on a long break, and that stinks. It's been tough for us. We have really had a hard time with recording. We're still having a hard time scheduling recording. Life has been crazier in the last 6 months for me than it probably ever has been in my entire life in terms of sickness, in terms of travel, in terms of major life changes that I won't go into, but just a lot of crazy things. And that's just me. That's not counting Jeffrey, who recently got married, Zach, who is having a baby, and everybody else with life and jobs and different things going on. It's just been crazy. It's just been crazy. But we're approaching the end of season 5. And as we approach that ending, this episode is one that, it is one that's very special to my heart. I've wanted to tell this story since the beginning, since season 1. This is one of the stories that I had in my mind, and I would say, and maybe in my heart, and deep in my heart, all the way back then. And it's finally ready for you to hear it. Over 2.5 hours long. So I wanted to give this one to you all early, especially since we were on such a long break. And also because hopefully next week, hopefully in the latter part of next week, we will host a live Q&A. I'm going to put a link to the Q&A Google Doc in the show notes of this episode. We will also post it on our socials. If you are a patron at the $3 tier and above, then you have access to that live Q&A. You can tune in when we go live. You can watch it on YouTube and comment along with us and all of that. I will probably release this one as an audio file later in the season, just in the feed. So if you're not a patron and you can't afford to be a patron, I totally understand that. The live Q&As are exclusive for patrons, but I'll probably release it after some time just so we can get all those answers out to everyone. But of course, you won't be able to listen along live and communicate with us live as we do that. So please follow the link, submit your questions, whether you're a patron right now or not. I want to hear your questions and I want to answer the ones that I can. But for now, let's get into this week's episode 21 of Season 5, The Ballad of Zerluan.
Open your eyes, Zerluan and Ballad. Open the eyes of your mind, and remember.
Now remember, allow the lantern's power to flow through you like the lifeblood within your very veins. Our bodies as the conduits. The power is hers, and the chorus of our spell will draw its path.
The tall, brown-haired elf walks around the circle of mages, his hands tucked into the large hanging sleeves of his simple gray robes. Each elf in the circle listens with a palpable intensity. He pauses to straighten the stance of a young red-haired elf, adjusting the grip of another on her wand, pulling her elbow down to create the right arc for the flowing of the weave. In the center of their circle, there stands an enormous wedge of white stone, sharp and tall, ready to be harvested and formed to the will of the mages.
We are the children of Prevalian. All the peoples of Monumi will gather here with us on this day to honor the dedication of our home, the Wind's Haven by the sea. And you are her architects,
he cries, his voice rising with the building of the wind.
You are her materials. You are her buildings. The days of wandering have ended. The war of light is over, and it is time for the elves to make their home.
A congregation of elves surround them, and they begin to clap their hands together in agreement. But their mouths remain silent as they watch their mages prepare to cast together.
Now, my brethren, let us begin.
Silence falls as the air around them sizzles with the static of Provalian's power.
Implements raised.
With a wide sweep of his arms, teal light bursts up from the ground around them all. Through grates beneath their feet, the power of the lantern radiates upward. Then, in 3 stages of movement, splitting the circle into a triad, the mages lift their implements together and speak the words of command. The light of the lantern licks up around their feet, coursing through their bodies, then out from their implements. The power crashes into the marble peak with a strike like lightning, breaking it apart into uncountable pure shards. Suspended in the crackling blue energy, the second wave rolls forward, their power sweeping over the shards above them. They glow and grow, shifting around them and spinning, resituating, but the mages hold their connection. Finally, the third wave steps forth, and with it, the power begins to shape the marble at once to the image perceived by the mages in unison. The marble spins and swells, it turns and twists until there is formed the base of a beautiful, pearl-white tower. Marble steps roll forward from its crafted entrance as the material bends and obeys the demands of its masters, growing from these fragments something intricate, something dazzling, something beautiful. And after many long minutes, the silent yet present hum of the weave fades as the mages force their movements to stop, their arms falling slowly down to their sides in unison. With a crackling thud, the power of the lantern dissipates. And in the center of their circle stands a breathtaking structure. The tower looms before them, its lovely peaks rising above 100 feet or more. At its base, it is pure and perfect pearl, white gleaming in the light of the setting sun. But high above, rising like great flutes, the peaks of the tower spread out like the ribs of a scallop, each shifting from white to the disparate colors of Provalian. As the elves look on in awe, an ocean breeze sweeps through the valley, and suddenly the flutes begin to hum a tune, haunting and lovely.
Well done, my sisters, my brothers. Our tower of Provalian is complete, and with it we have claimed this haven of wind for the children of our goddess of spring. Let us rejoice, my people. The darkest reign has reached its end at last, and now the stars burn brighter than ever before. Let us join hand in hand and celebrate together, for an age begins of life anew for all of Manumi and for our city of elves, our event haven.
And now the people cry out in joy, cheering for their goddess as the sun grows low in the sky of this spring equinox. And the song of Provalian blows over the valley of the elves in the nascent city of Venthaven by the sea.
The elven realms were then born, Zerluan, and your world would never be the same.
Let us begin.
The voice of the tall, brown-haired elf rings out over the concourse. The room is lined with dozens of elves, many spilling out through the great open doorways into the white halls beyond. The elf is on a raised platform at the back side of a large chamber, where he stands facing the great imprint of Provalian's scallop carved into the marble floors. It glows with the power of Provalian, illuminating the room with pure light.
For 1,000 years, the people of Manumi have fought for our freedom, for our world. Our war for light has been victorious, and now the free peoples of Manumi have begun building our own homes. Today, we gather to set forth our future, placed in the hands of those most honorable and venerable, chosen by our own people. Today, by witness in the sight of emissaries from all the lands and peoples of Manumi, we establish our elder conclave and the one who shall govern with their aid.
Stepping forth from the crowd onto the center of the glowing scallop comes a younger elf, his sun-yellow hair drawn back behind his ears. He is dressed in glimmering armor, blue like the oceans, bearing the mark of Prevalian on his breast. He draws a silver longsword from his back, and holding it horizontally in both hands, he kneels toward the raised platform.
Our people have spoken. I, Zerluan and Ballad, captain of the Sea Guard, do hereby declare the elves of Vithaven desire thee, Elevonre Honorius, to lead us into this new age by governing the children of Prevalian.
With one voice, the elves speak, Mimihir. And with a bowed head, Elevonre answers,
I will accept this great responsibility at the behest of our people, and alongside me, we elect our elder conclave to take us into a time of love and peace like we have never known.
Stepping forward again, Zerluan and Ballad reads their names from an unfurled scroll.
Elder Silverthorn.
A regal elven woman steps out, her silvery blonde hair draped over her white robes.
Elder Galadir.
A tall elf approaches the platform with confidence, his handsome face framed by his hair, goldenrod yellow.
Elder Aleth.
A thin elf rises and joins the others, his stoic face marred with a clean scar running down across his jaw.
Elder Darkbolt.
Thin, with a sharp chin, she glides toward the platform, then faces the crowd with a whip, her bright red hair standing out.
Elder Felwyn.
Slouching nervously with his eyes downward, Phalewin steps closely behind the Elder Darkbolt, pushing his thin spectacles back up onto his short, pointed nose.
Elder Blightwood.
The last member joins, a young, bright-eyed elf with leaf-green hair. He stands by the others, bouncing on the balls of his feet.
Together, with the aid of the lantern and the sharp wit of our goddess, we shall lead Vinthaven into our future, which could not shine any brighter. And we begin today by welcoming our friends and brethren from across our world.
At once, music fills the chamber of the Elder Conclave. Those elders take their seats before the platform as the crowds of elves step aside, creating an open path through the doorways in the back. Approaching through this pathway come two humans, accompanied by a couple strange figures. A large, broad-shouldered man and a small, stout halfling with brown, bowl-cut hair. These two figures carry strange bags with pipes leading up and outward from them, which they play like whining horns to their march. Upon reaching the scallop in the floor, they split to the sides, facing inward, as the Lord and Lady of Brandshire take their place before the conclave. Their bagpipes come to a sudden stop as the Lord and Lady bow in respect. Then rising again, the handsome man stands straight, dressed in simple, well-made traveling robes.
Torrell Solarin, Mayor of Brandshire, with the Lady Eleanor Solarin.
I, Torrell Solarin, Mayor of Brandshire, have traveled many miles with my dear wife Eleanor to give honor and to congratulate the children of Prevalian for settling their city by the sea. You have given our people great aid in the Far East, and we are forever in your debt for sharing of your experience in the building of the temple for our great god, Pelor. Now that the War of Light has ended, our rich lands have yielded crops like we have never seen. We therefore come bearing gifts of our best grains, our liveliest seeds, and our wealthiest soils. May the fertility of Pelor's lands bring health and growth to the valley of Prevalian.
Elevonre spreads his hands and bows in thanks. The humans bow again in answer, then turn to leave, followed by their pipers. As the whine of the bagpipes fades, the rhythmic thudding of drums rolls into the chamber. Marching between the crowds comes a cavalcade of dwarves, armed from crown to heel. They march forward in the form of a perfect circle, surrounding the lords of Derveter's folk. At once the drums stop as they come to a halt before the governor. Between them, Zerluan bows in honor before declaring their guests.
The lords of the mountain kingdom of Dimmerhold and Derveter's folk, King Gimreed of Clan Frostbeard, the warrior Dreamund of Clan Shattershield, and the lady cleric Elaine of Clan Hammerheart.
The three drum their chest pieces thrice in unison, with a bowed head toward Elevonre. King Gimreed steps forward. Upon his head is placed a mithril crown, gleaming in contrast to his thick black hair. His beard sways as he speaks, his deep voice ringing throughout the marble hall.
I, Gimreed of Frostbeard, King of Dimmerhold, do give our dearest thanks to the children of Prevalian. If it weren't for the aid of your goddess and her magic, then the dwarves would ne'er have been able to drive the darkness forth from the roots of our mountain home. The people of Dimmerhold, and all Derveter's kin, owe you our sincerest gratitude, and our pledge of honor.
Heavy armor clinks as the next dwarf lord steps forward. With a flourish of arms, the warrior Dreamund removes his tall silver helmet, revealing a deep white scar across his forehead. One eye locks onto Elevonre, the other milky white, unseeing.
Aye, we have come with our thanks. If it weren't for the learning of your mages, our armies might ne'er have warded off the dark beasts of the world. With the knowledge you've afforded us, our warriors will keep peace throughout our lands through the ages to come.
The Lady Elaine moves up beside Dreamund, placing a hand on his forearm. Her long, golden hair is partially pulled back in a bun, the rest flowing down over her white and silver robes. Her voice, strong yet melodious, sweeps over the room, capturing the hearts of each who hears it.
Milord Elevandre, we've indeed traveled far to offer you and your people our words of gratitude. But more than that, we've come to give gifts of our own, which we hope will bring light to the people of Vinthaven.
Two dwarves behind her bring forth a great wooden chest, placing it between them on the floor. The Lady Elaine unlatches it, throwing back the lid, and dozens of small circular crystals gleam with a white light from within the chest.
With the aid of Prevalian's magic, we were able to enchant the crystal ceiling of our home, so that our people could bask in the celestial light of Derveter's glory. That crystal, which we have named as Moonstone, is unlike any we have seen throughout all the lands, and so our people have come to share it with you, a bounty of moonstones from within the Icefall Mountains. May the children of Prevalian wield them to bring light to these lands, and to forge a brotherhood between our peoples for all ages to come.
Elevonre bows deeply to the emissaries of Dimmerhold, and they each bow again in turn. Then, as the drums play once more, the dwarves take their leave. No music accompanies the third party, other than the rhythmic thud of armored footsteps marching in unison. 3 iron silver-clad warriors march forward, their tall pikes thudding with their steps. 4 steps behind them comes a large, broad-shouldered human. He also is clad in the same iron-silver armor, but around his neck is clasped a blood-red cape. His hair is gray, and his face mangled by a vicious scar running across a blank white eye on the left side. With a curt nod, he addresses the conclave.
Golric Barlan, Lord General of Barlan's Pass.
Golric Barlan, my lords. I have come by sea from the far eastern shores of our world. While our war of light has indeed been won, darkness yet creeps in the shadowed corners of our lands. The armies of Barland's Pass will stand vigilant while Manumi begins to build in earnest. Our walled city will protect our brothers in the east, but we will also answer any call for aid, no matter the distance. This is the greatest gift we have to give.
Elevonre looks upon Gulric with equal parts consideration and respect.
A kingly gift indeed, General Barlin. And likewise, the Night Guard of Vithaven will protect our lands from the darkness that still remains in the jungles to our north. Our world is now a united world, and so shall we always be.
General Barlin salutes in agreement, then turns on a heel with a barking order. The soldiers of Barland's Pass march once more out the open doorway. As the final procession begins, a flowing song of pipes and lute enter the chamber. Then the little folk come dancing into the room, spinning and whirling their way forward. Halflings and gnomes alike, all adorned in leaves of bright orange and red with deep greens. They laugh as they dance the circle hand in hand until the music fades and they pause before the governor. Two figures step out from their friends, walking forward hand in hand. One, a young male halfling with golden brown hair, half covering his eyes. The other, a lively gnome with bright orange hair, her freckles standing out against her deep tan skin.
Hello, I am Perrin of Fallen Grove. We've come to give a hearty hello to our new neighbors to the south.
And I am Sweet. I also wanted to say hello.
In unison, all the gnomes and halflings join them in hello!
We are the children of Atonia, the brothers and sisters of the forest, and we also wanted to say thank you.
Without the help and teaching of your magic, we might never have learned the right motions and words to grow our corrine tree. And so, we've come to offer our thanks, as well as a token of our appreciation.
That's right. Your help made us very happy. It made us laugh and smile and dance. So to show our thank yous, we've composed a song and a dance for you in honor of Prevalian's children.
With a wave of her hand, Sweet motions to her right. Stepping up through the crowd of their procession comes an elven maiden. Her hair is dark like twilight, stark against her light skin. On her brow rests a laurel of dahlias, and as she steps up, her long dress shifts like the sound of fallen leaves woven in colors of red, orange, yellow, and green. She does not smile, but her eyes soften as she lightly brings a flute to her lips. It is wooden of deep cherry, and as Perrin and Sweet turn to face her with a nod, she begins to play. With her song, the gnomes and halflings sway, their movements perfectly aligned to her melody. But between them and Governor Elevonre, the standard bearer of Venthaven, Lord Captain of the Enorians, stands transfixed. While he had been standing erect, his hands clasped tightly behind his back, his stance now softens, and his hands fall loose to his sides, as Zerluan and Ballad falls victim to the magic before him. No spell of Prevalian, no enchantment of Atonia. He falls bewitched by beauty and song. She sways softly as the children of Atonia dance and sing with all their vigor, like fallen leaves on the wind. But for Zerluan, the room melts away until there is only the lone maiden, one, a single soul, and all his honor, his place, and his purposes are overcome in one glance of her dark eyes and the song of her soft tones. Time slows, stops, then speeds up again, a breath within a breath. And Zerluan does not move. He does not blink, does not dare to turn his head. But then, in a moment, the song ends. As she drops her hands again to her sides, her hair tucked behind her lovely ears, she turns her dark eyes toward him. And the crowd erupts in cheers. Zerluan is broken from his spell, shaken by the clapping of hands on his shoulders. He reels, looking toward his brothers in arms, but as he looks again toward the maiden, she is gone. The crowd continues to cheer and laugh and sing. Venthaven is born! But Zerluan desperately looks about, pressing through the crowd, searching for her again, but to no avail. Just at the door, he sees the halfling, Perrin. He stoops quickly, grabbing him by the shoulder, perhaps a bit too harshly.
Wait, Lord Perrin, forgive me. The elven maiden who played your song, where is she? Has she gone?
Perrin looks stunned for a moment, but then offers the elf a knowing grin.
Oh, her? She's awfully lovely, isn't she? That's our friend. She lives with us in the forest of Atonia. She's probably gone by now. She's not a big fan of crowds.
Gone? The forest? All right then, tell me, halfling friend, what is her name?
Her name?
He says, smiling up at him.
Her name is Dolenia.
Can you see it, Zerluan? Do you remember all that was? Let your heart guide you forward.
The trudging of heavy footsteps courses through the thick underbrush of the jungles. The chirping of strange creatures sounds around them, fowls and other beasts yet undiscovered. In the numerous years since Venthaven was built, the elves have still not mastered the strangeness of this place. Even now, as the city enters its third expansion, the Anorian Guard struggles to press back the danger from the perimeter of the wild tree line.
The sun is taking its final turn, Captain, for no more than an hour from nightfall.
Right you are, Eleanor. We'll make this our last survey of the day.
The captain lithely hops onto the tall, gnarled root of a giant kapok tree, turning to his band of warriors. The failing rays of sunlight pierce through the cover of leaves, glinting off from his ocean blue helmet.
All right, Anorians. Nightfall is upon us. Let's make a short eastern sweep, then we'll turn south toward home. Keep an eye out for the night thorns. We know they like to creep out at this hour. The last thing we need is another soldier poisoned and maimed by...
Captain, look out!
And out from the shadow of the kapok behind Zerluan come two black furred tentacles, snapping viciously onto his neck and right bicep. He lets out a scream of pain as the tentacles yank him up off from his feet just as the full weight of the displacer beast barrels into his back. The yowls of multiple creatures fill the jungles around them as the soldiers brandish their weapons and ready their spells. At once, the patrol is overrun by monsters. As the first drops of elven blood fall to the jungle floor, black, thorny vines writhe up and around their legs. The vicious, black-furred beasts take their chance and pounce. The forest rings with the din of blades piercing flesh, bowstring twangs, and the roar of magic. But the pack roars in the hunger of their hunt as the elves fight for their lives. In the confusion of the ambush, the soldiers fail to notice as their captain is quietly pulled out of sight. In the darkness beneath the roots of the kapok, the Alpha drags her prey quietly to her den. While her pack finishes their battle, she will feast on the first fruits of the hunt. This one, with his strange and shiny metals, will fill her belly with his flesh and feed her den with his blood. Her tentacles hold his arms and mouth as Zerluan struggles with muffled cries, unable to draw his weapon or speak a word of incantation. Here, in this dark, hidden place, he will draw his final breath. As the alpha purrs wickedly, stretching her widened maw for the kill, she shimmers as an arrow thuds into the side of her neck. A garbled yowl escapes her as she shifts, a blinking form in the dark, and Zerluan takes his one opportunity. Holding up two hands toward her, he cries out,
Near Galad,
A sudden blinding light, piercing and pale, bursts out from his hands, exploding out from the roots around them. He rolls to the side in one swift motion, tucking up onto his feet and drawing his second sword. Turning on a heel, ready to lunge in fury at the feline monstrosity, he stutters in his step with pause. In the center of the bone-ridden den of the beast, his defender is revealed. It is not an Anorian soldier who had fired his saving arrow. It was an elf maiden, a hunter. Her midnight black hair whips around her as she dodges nimbly beneath the attacks of the beast, stabbing its lower ribs twice in quick succession. The beast yowls again as she uses this momentum to slide up onto its back, swift as the ocean breeze, and there she releases two more arrows into the back of its neck. The beast howls in misery, but unwilling to die, it leaps upward toward the ceiling, catching its hunter against the stone-hard roots of the kapok. A grunt of pain escapes her as she is slammed with its full weight. She holds on tightly. Yet Zerluan is ready. With his second sword, he dashes forward atop a sea of bones, and as the beast lands on all fours, its full weight drives his blade deep within its chest. Its howl of pain is cut off as he twists the blade, severing the beast's final breath. Its body falls limp, catching Zerluan under its weight with a solid thump. The elven maiden slides off from the beast's back, holding an injured shoulder, and she reaches down toward the captain.
Forgive me, Captain, but you look like you could use a hand.
Honestly, I think I could use two.
Zerluan struggles to pull his arm free from the bulk of the corpse, and his helmet slides off, freeing his line of sight. His blonde hair dark with mud and blood, he looks up toward his savior as his arm breaks free. At once his breath leaves him, not from the beast's weight, but from the shock of the beautiful face grinning above him. It's her, the maiden from Fallen Grove, the one he had searched for but never found. Her eyes sharpen as he speaks her name.
Dolania?
But before she can respond, Zerluan sees something else. A black vine reared up and ready to strike. But he notices too late, and as he draws a breath to cry out, the thorny vine lashes forward, striking onto her right shoulder where her soft, light skin is exposed. She cries out again, spinning on the spot to see her attacker. A bolt of flame fires out from behind them, engulfing the night thorn. It burns away in ash as the defending soldier slides down into the den.
Captain, are you all right? Did it cut you?
Quick, Eleanor! The woman! Help her! She was struck by the thorns!
The soldier ignores this order for a moment, taking her captain by the arm and wrenching him free from the beast's weight. Zerluan scrambles to his feet, rushing to Delania's side. She is trembling, seizing as a black foam leaks from her lips.
Hurry! One of the clerics! We need a restoration now! Hurry! She's dying!
She hears, but his voice is muffled, far away. She looks up toward the captain, his blonde hair matted and filthy with blood and muck. But as the world grows cold, she thinks to herself,
Has there ever been a more beautiful creature than this?
Open your eyes once more, Zerluan and Ballad. Your history is not yet unveiled. There is much still to see, and see it you shall. Remember.
The afternoon sun drifts across the linen sheets as Delania shifts in her bed. Her limbs feel heavy and thick, and her head spins as she opens her eyes. The light blinds her momentarily, its beams cutting through the stained glass window toward her. But as her sight adjusts, she lifts up onto her elbows to better take in her surroundings. The room is cool and shaded, save for the single window. She winces as she pushes herself up further, a sharp pain cutting into her right shoulder. She reaches over and feels the tight bandages from neck to rib, wrapping the shoulder completely. It smells sweetly of herbs and petals, undoubtedly from a poultice pressed onto her wound. She recalls now the battle with the shadowy beast, the night thorns, and... Her head jerks to her right, another flash of pain in her shoulder. Seated on the floor, his head leaned back against the stone wall in a restless trance, is the captain she'd rescued. Now the captain who'd rescued her, it would seem. His ocean blue helmet is resting beside him, his arms crossed over the heavy breastplate bearing the mark of Prevalian, goddess of spring. His sun-yellow hair hangs around his shoulders, clumped in places still with dried blood and filth. Minutes pass as she watches him silently, his chest rising and falling with deep, exhausted breaths. He is jostled awake, however, when the thin door beside him opens. A tall elven maiden enters the room, her white blonde hair pulled back into a tight bun. As she approaches the bed, she glances down at the captain with the smallest hint of a knowing grin.
I see you have awakened finally,
she says with a smile.
And how are you feeling?
Dolania looks from the cleric down to the captain and then back up to her again.
I feel all right, I suppose.
The cleric nods understandingly.
Of course. Some grogginess is to be expected, as the poison isn't quite gone from your body, but it will improve over time. A small inconvenience, after all, knowing what might have happened if your friend...
she says, pausing for a moment.
Well, if Captain Ingalid hadn't been there to help.
Zerluan stands to his feet, shaking himself awake. His face draws in an involuntary wince as he stretches his arm to one side.
I'm afraid that you have it all wrong, Cleric Nightingale. It was she who arrived to help me.
His voice is just as she remembers. Strong, fluid, like a rushing river. But perhaps it had changed in the slightest now, as his eyes fall into hers.
Well, yes,
she says, composing herself.
I suppose I did come to your aid, after all.
Well, yes, it seems the two of you have much to be grateful for indeed. Now, with permission, I would like to administer some more of our potions and renew your poultice. Miss...
Delania,
she says, her eyes again falling back towards Captain Ingalid.
My name is Delania Moonbow.
Amidst the crags of the rocky coasts east of Venthaven, there stands a small stone structure, perhaps the beginnings of a great castle. Builders from the city work together with stone experts from Dimmerhold to craft the temple without the aid of magic in its building. The lush green of the northern jungles do not stretch into the crags. The line of forestry stops with an unnatural suddenness, passing from verdant life to stark, empty gray. For reasons beyond the understanding of mortals, the sharp terrain of the peaks allow no flora to cross their borders. And within the confines of the crags, magic is wild, unpredictable, and so they build their temple, stone upon stone, with the use of their own hands. Within the small standing structure, the clerics of Prevalian tend to the infirm. Daily, as the sun rises, many make their pilgrimage through the paths back to Venthaven. A lengthy trek, but vitally important for those who are capable of managing the journey. For the sweet air of their city feeds the souls of Prevalian's children. As the first company of the morning pass through the crags toward their home, a single soldier meets them on the road. He passes by with barely a nod, the clerics smiling at him with that knowing smile. Various builders hail him by name, as all of Venthaven would know that ocean blue armor and the valiant deeds of Zerluan and Ballad, captain of the Enorians. Daily, he returns to the burgeoning temple. He nods to the clerics within, and with silent consent they lead him to her door. He brings nothing with him, only an ear for her questions and lips to give answers. As he steps through the doorway to her room, that small stone chamber with the stained glass window, her dark eyes turn alight with the spreading of her smile. She is thin, her cheeks pressed on the bones, dressed in the white healing robes of the temple.
Hello again, Zerluan.
Good morning, Delania.
She turns again to the window, where she tends a small plant, a succulent. Its color is more faded than it should be, but the fact that it lives at all within the confines of this region is miraculous within itself.
There is some fresh bread just there on that table, if you'd like, and orange juice, of course.
Well, how could I resist a glass of orange juice?
He says with a grin, pouring himself a drink. She rests her pitcher alongside the pot, turning to join him at the small table. Her cane clinks on the cold stone floor as she walks toward him. He puts out a hand, which she takes without thought, leaning on his strength as she sits slowly in a simple wooden chair.
There are jams as well, Zerluan. Sweet strawberry jam, brought in from Branshire. Have you ever been to Branshire? It is lovely this time of year.
Why, yes, I have been, but only once. It wasn't quite what it is now, from what I hear, but it was a nice place. Quaint.
She offers him a sideways grin.
Boring, you mean?
He chuckles softly.
Of course.
The two pass the hour speaking, sipping their juice, and indulging in the jams and fresh buttered bread. She asks of Venthaven, its building and expansion, the continued culling of the northern borders, the study of the wizards. Zerluan answers each question fully, doing his best to build the world out for her beyond the walls of this infirmary. Her eyes alight with curiosity as he describes the first buildings of the school, the Silverthorn's new center for study and educating the next generation of wizards. She is insatiable in her thirst for knowledge, and he is happy to oblige in all that he knows.
Floating buildings? So Silverthorn not only wants a school for magic, but he wants this school to be made of magic as well? Isn't that dangerous? I mean, how will they keep it sustained? The amount of power needed to hold up a building such as this indefinitely?
Well, the lantern will handle that, of course.
The lantern will? Wait, so the lantern is going to somehow, feed power to the structure? How far away will this schoolhouse be? How will they harness its power for something like that?
Her eyes widen with curiosity. Zerluan sips his glass of juice before speaking.
The Elder Conclave desires to build a sort of network of arcane power throughout the city itself, or at least part of it. They're building conduits, branches, and tributaries of arcane materials with intent to focus the power of the lantern across the city. Not only could they support a levitating structure, they could bring power and light to every home, every shop, every blacksmith. The city of Prevalian will live off the energy of her greatest gift. It'll be a wonder such as Monumi's never seen. I'd bet even the Dracon Kelly will be impressed.
The Dracon Kelly?
She says, hesitant.
Zerluan, I know you were very instrumental in the War of Light, but I hadn't considered. Have you met any of the Dracon Kelly?
Met? Well, yes, I suppose. I have met one. Rivora, the Fury we called her. She fought with us in the Battle of Gulrod, east of the Elder Mountains. She was fearsome and tall, very tall. And when she took on scales as the Red Dragon, she was mighty and terrible. Of course, I saw others as well. Hope and Kel, with the humans as he's known. The Copper, Timpari, took a party of halflings north with her to help infiltrate the fortress in the Iceville Mountains. But Rivora is the only one with whom I've ever spoken.
I see. Were they frightening?
His hand rises to his chin, pondering.
I suppose they were frightening. Especially when they take on their draconic forms. But they're more than that, I think. They're not gods. But I suppose they're not like us, either. Not mortal. Small. They're more.
She sits quietly as his words hang in the air.
Small.
She looks down, rubbing her wrists. They're thinner now than they were the day she saved his life, the day he saved hers.
Well, perhaps one day I will have the opportunity to meet them. If I ever get out of this place.
She says, with a chuckle, but the smile never reaches her eyes. Zerluan bows his head and stands slowly, his eyes focused on the empty glass on the table. Hesitantly, he reaches an ungloved hand toward her. The back of his fingers gently touch her cheek, soft and warm. Her face turns upward with a shock, her mouth slightly agape, and his hand returns to his side as he steps back, surprised by his own behavior.
I suppose I must be on my way. The governor will be expecting me.
Oh, yes.
She says, visibly flustered.
Well, thank you again for visiting. I do cherish our conversations. The clerics are wonderful, but their conversation is somewhat lacking,
She says with a laugh, the smile taking over her thin face.
It's my pleasure, Dolania. Until tomorrow.
Their eyes linger, connected for an exasperated moment, and then he takes his leave. Those spring days pass in a blur. Zerluan spends much of his time away, fulfilling his role as captain of the Enorians. They continue pressing the northern border, driving out beasts of darkness and twisted flora. He leads the men with greater care, still learning to master their new domain. The Southways are built as the elves finally began to establish their sea trade, crafting ships such as the world has never seen. As the first Venthaven vessel takes its maiden voyage, the newly built sea tower shines its first light, cerulean blue, with the power of the lantern. But with each passing day that Zerluan finds himself in the city, without fail, he makes the long passage to her doorstep. He tells her tales of their adventures, of the sea tower and its dazzling light, the plans for the arcane bead to protect their city, a ward from the winds and any unwanted danger. Her eyes alight with wonder at his tales as the days pass, becoming weeks and eventually months. With help from the clerics, she grows stronger, and eventually he walks with her in the barren lands around the temple Zauberstone. Even from this distance, the salty air fills her nostrils. The fresh breeze and bright summer sun presses new life into her skin, and he smiles. As her strength grows, so does her resolve. With reluctance, the clerics allow for even greater excursions, the visits to Venthaven. The walk itself would be more than she could reasonably handle, and so Zerluan makes provision for that. He arrives at dawn, riding a strange craft devised by the wizards of Silverthorn's school, a fluttering cart flying on wings like a great dragonfly. As she steps out of the gates of the temple, leaning on her cane, her eyes widen in awe at the craft, a sound of pure glee escaping her lips. Together with her hand looped in his arm for support, they walk the streets of Venthaven. He shows her the burgeoning school, its series of structures all hovering feet off from the ground. He shows her the tracing veins inside the city streets, implements and conduits feeding the power of Prevalian's lantern throughout her city. Each new sight fills her with wonder, and the light in her eyes grows ever brighter. While on their walks, she almost forgets her illness. She seems happier, stronger. But each time as the sun sinks low in the sky, her body bows with it. Her smiles turn to small frowns, unintentional grimaces of pain, and her steps slow. Always, he brings her again to the safety of the temple, and inside the sickness deafens, and she seems well once more, if not wholly so. And so they spend their days together, walking, talking, eating the best the sea has to offer, reading the collections brought in at the budding library of Venthaven. Summer passes to autumn, autumn to winter, and the days and the seasons shift and change, but Zerluan is her constant. Not a morning comes when she expects him that he is not there, his golden hair stark and light against the blue mithril upon his chest.
Perhaps,
She thinks.
perhaps together, we are not so small.
Your future was your own, child of Prevalian, and your choices set the path that was before you. Remember.
Elevonre Honorius looks up from his scroll at the sound of footsteps and shifting armor. The boy is late, again. It was not his wont to be tardy, not for all the years he had known him, but as of late.
Good morning, Captain. How goes the expansion to the north?
Zerluan removes his helmet as he steps inside the large office.
Governor Honorius,
he says with a respectful bow, taking a seat across from him at the governor's desk.
We fare quite well. We have not had an incident in some months, and the mages say they are ready to expand the arcane bead. Once that's finished, we can clear the crafters to start building.
Elevonre nods approvingly, his dark hair framed primly around his deep tanned skin.
Very good, very good. And how have you been, Zerluan?
He nods with a small smile.
Quite well, Governor. Our people are in a season of light now, and I am with them.
Light. Ah, that is a word, isn't it? In the past millennia, that word was as bitter as it was sweet. A war of light, we called it. But darkness is more like.
A ghost of horrors passes over his face, but only for a moment. And Zerluan almost misses it.
But of course you are correct, my boy. Our people are indeed in a season of light, our age of independence. But alas, I'm afraid you did not quite answer my question. How are you doing, Zerluan?
He asks with a knowing look. Zerluan pauses for a moment.
Me? Governor. As I said, I am with...
Not, how are your missions going, Zerluan? How are you? You were a quarter hour tardy this morning. That is not a large matter by any means, save for the fact that it has become increasingly common with you as of late. You seem distracted, my boy. Your missions have been successful. Your work is above reproach, yes, but I am concerned for your ambition, your focus. This new age, the era of our people's growth and independence, it requires much sacrifice from those in power. You know this to be true, Zerluan.
He sits quietly, considering his response. Zerluan is no fool, and he has not hidden his actions from anyone, a fact which he subtly regrets at this moment.
I suppose I have been somewhat distracted recently, Governor. But as you stated, that has not affected my efficiency.
I'm not concerned for your efficiency, Zerluan.
Elevonre rubs his eyes with a sigh.
I am concerned for your future. The years before you are brighter than you could possibly imagine. A future with brighter stars, with deeper oceans, with reaches of magic and life such as Manumi has never known. But that future is only possible for those chosen for the Anto Kuil, those chosen by our goddess for life unending.
Zerluan shuffles and stands, his helmet held close to his side.
My lord Elevonre, you know that my allegiance is to Venthaven, to Prevalian and her children. Yes, perhaps I've allowed some things to slip at the edges lately, but I can assure you, I know my place in the destiny of our people. I'll be here, where I'm meant to be.
Elevonre lets his words settle between them. He nods slowly.
And what of the maiden? Is she also where she is meant to be?
His jaw slips down for a second before regaining his staunch composure.
She's a friend, Governor. A dear one, perhaps. But just that. Her destiny is yet to be seen, but that does not change mine in any fashion. This destiny is my own.
As you say, Captain. Go, with Prevalian's grace,
he says, his arms spread, palms upward and open. The winter months have come to Venthaven. Occasionally, touches of snow will leak down from the north onto the crags, dusting the temple's Zalberstone with white powder. The castle has grown considerably over the months, and soon it will be complete. The cleric mages of Prevalian spend their days in service to the goddess, tending to the ill and infirm, studying the scriptures penned by the prophetesses, and aiding Venthaven in their deep studies of the nature of magic in this world. In these cooler months, Dolania has taken to spending less time in her room and more time about the castle. Her constant companion has been away for some time, on missions of import, and so she has found new ways to spend her days. She helps tend to those visiting the castle, the ill and needy. The kitchens welcome her aid, as do the cleric mages. As their healing comes from the weave of arcane magic, Dolania teaches them to use the natural world in healing, how to craft poultices of herbs, the use of aromatic incense empowering mood and spirit, the pure dulling of pain with the boiling and chewing of specific roots and leaves found in the northern jungles. In those winter days, the temple becomes less her infirmary and more her home. She makes friends among the mage clerics, and she grows in knowledge concerning the ways of Prevalian. Still, as the days become weeks and then even months, her heart burns silently within her, and her eyes often drift toward the southern road, searching for a flash of blue against the sharp peaks. On the first mild day of the new year, he returns. He finds Dolania in the dining hall, seated at a small table with a group of children. They play as they eat, laughing, and she cannot help but laugh along with them. He smiles deeply at the melodic sound of her laughter, for the first time in these long weeks. Too long. She stands gathering their plates from the table, and turning, she sees him. She stutters, almost dropping the plates onto the stone floor, but quickly catches herself. Her mouth hangs, partly open for a moment before regaining her composure. She shuffles her feet, looking down at the blue runner passing toward the doorway, then back up toward him with a sheepish grin.
Dolania.
Her face widens in a deep smile, and he is mesmerized. In all the parts of the world he has been, all the wonders of Monumi he has seen, never has anything in all of creation been more beautiful than her. She drops the plates back onto the table and then walks toward him swiftly, stopping merely a foot from him. She reaches up and straightens a wild, sun-yellow strand hanging over his face.
Captain,
she says with a mischievous smirk. They both laugh.
God.
All the tightness of months apart drifting away in that light sound.
I have something for you,
he says, drawing from his pocket a narrow wooden box. She takes it in her hands, feeling the smooth edges of the dark wood. She looks up at him with a grin as she finds the opening, sliding the lid open. She gasps. Then carefully she takes out the small golden bracelet. It is a gilded cord woven in an elven braid. In the middle of the weave there is a tiny loop holding a single charm, a totem, a white gold leaf with a hole inside it as a crescent moon.
Zerluan.
He reaches a hand toward hers, and she takes it. Softly, he wraps the golden cord about her wrist twice, then closes the small golden clasp.
I don't know what to say. It is lovely.
She looks up at him, into his eyes. They are close enough that she can feel the wind of his breath, smell the sea air on his clothes.
I don't have much experience in making beautiful things such as this. My hands have been instruments of war for most of my life. But I wanted you to have something from me, from when I am away, to remind you of me.
She smiles wide, her lips closed.
Thank you, Zerluan. You've made me something beautiful,
she says, rolling the small charm in her fingers. She looks up at him again, her eyes dark and strong.
But I don't need something to remind me of you. You're always the first thing on my mind when the sun rises.
They spend the day walking the grounds of the temple. She shows him her work, how she's helped the cleric mages with healing from a new perspective. She takes him to their garden, planted inside an observatory built on the north end of the temple, a greenhouse filled with herbs and plants, flowers, and trees. She blooms amidst the flora, passion pouring out as she describes each leaf and petal, each root and stem. He smiles as she guides him through, and he knows that her days of infirmity are drawing to a close. He is quiet as they walk, listening, soaking in all that she shares with him. And as the day fades towards sunset, they find themselves back at her door, the small chamber waiting for her. They stand quietly for a moment, a bit of awkwardness filling the air between them.
Thank you for coming today, Zerluan. I must admit, I missed our walks while you were gone,
she says, idly fumbling with the gilded cord on her wrist.
As did I, Delinia. I thought, well, now that the War of Light has ended, I had thought these tours and journeys would become fewer, farther between. But I suppose that, as long as there is light in Monumi, there must always be some darkness, some shadow.
He looks into her eyes and then looks down again quickly.
But returning here gives me light, something joyous to look forward to. When I'm away, I think of our walks, our conversation. Yolenia, I wonder if I might ask you something.
She looks at him curiously, his eyes now nervous and unsure.
Of course.
I'm afraid I must be leaving again, first thing tomorrow. I'm traveling by sea at sunrise for a special assignment. Elevonry wants me to sail east to a new settlement on the coast, place of enterprise. Venthaven is looking to expand its trade. It's not a military venture. I'm to deliver a message there and contract of some import. I was wondering,
he says, rubbing his hands together as he pauses.
I was wondering if you might like to join me. If you feel up to it, of course. I would never want you to overexert yourself. If it's too much, just say the word and...
Yes, Zerluan. I would love to accompany you. A journey at sea? How exciting!
He beams at her, taking both of her hands in his.
Wonderful. You won't need much, just a few changes of clothes. We should be back within a fortnight. I'll return to pick you up an hour before dawn, if you're sure.
She looks up into his piercing blue eyes, his hands warm in her own.
I've never been more certain of anything.
The elven ship glides over the southern seas in the late evening light. Just ahead, the bright sun shines over the port, where numerous ships rest along the piers. Their journey has been swift, as mages use their command of the winds to hurry their ship along the sea paths. Zerluan and Dolania had spent their days talking, observing the islands in the distance, pointing out creatures within the rolling waves. They kept mostly to themselves during the trip, walking on the bow by moonlight, eating their small breakfast each morning near the helm. They spoke of the world, how it is changing. Dolenia asked about his parents, his family, how he became the captain of the Honorians. He spoke of the centuries spent at war, of the darkness he'd seen in the world. But mostly he spoke of the light, of the grace and majesty of Prevalian, and the first time he saw the lantern. Dolania was in awe of this in particular, the lantern. What a wonder of creation to house the pure power of the goddess Prevalian herself. But of her past, Dolania did not have much to say. She wasn't cagey or closed off. On the contrary, she seemed to Zerluan an open book. It was rather as if her past was of no interest to her. She had no family to speak of. She'd been orphaned as a small girl living in the forests. She'd lived on her own after that and found a home amongst the children of Atonia. As a result, much of elven culture was new to her, and her time in Venthaven was the closest she had ever come to her people and her heritage. But she spoke passionately about the natural world, the life beyond their cities and towns. And aboard their elven vessel, her mind wandered to the sea, to its life, and all that was unknown beneath the surface and the waves. As their ship took port, they set out into the burgeoning town. A settlement, Elevonry had called it, But walking through the lively streets, still grass and bare ground, they saw that this place was becoming much more than that. It's no wonder Venthaven desired to trade with this place, as people from all over Monumi were gathered here. Huts and carts offered foods like they'd never seen nor tasted. Glowing meals from Dimmerhold, sweet breads from a couple of brand sharings. An impromptu courtyard was set up a half-mile north of the coast, where a troupe of bards played and sang as dancers danced. As a circle of these dancers passed them by, Dolania reached out and took one by the hand, sliding into place among them. She stepped into their movements effortlessly, matching each turn and step as if she'd done it 1,000 times or more. Zerluan watched her flowing through their routine, soft and lithe as the summer winds, and his heart thrummed in his chest. As the sun settled over the distant horizon, Zerluan brought them to the first foundational structure they'd seen. A house, small but lovely, sat at the northern end of the settlement. The music could still be heard in the distance behind them as he knocked at the red front door. Almost immediately, the handle turned and the door opened to reveal a striking figure.
Ah, Zerluan and Ballad, I presume. Welcome to Brightport. I hope your journey has been pleasant.
Most pleasant indeed.
Zerluan offers a small bow of greeting.
You must be Lord Blackfire.
The black-skinned tiefling gives a simple bow in return.
Yes, but you may call me Sebastian.
His dark eyes fall onto Dolania.
And who, might I ask, is this lovely creature?
This is Dolania, my traveling companion.
Delania Moonbow,
she says, giving a bow of her own. His eyes linger on hers for a moment, and almost without knowing, she feels a slight chill.
Dolania. That is an interesting name indeed. From Secret in the Hidden Tongues. Did you know?
She stands silently in the doorway. Her hand slides to the golden cord around her wrist nervously. Sensing her discomfort, Zerluan reaches down, taking her hand in his.
Language is an interesting thing, isn't it? Especially in regard to names. My late mother was especially interested in the etymology of words, particularly in the elven tongue. Our own surname, in Ballad, of course invoking the elvish word for light. She chose that for us and our future generations. A powerful name, I believe.
Ah, yes. Ballad, light. And thus, the children in light. And what of Zerluan? I'm afraid I can't find the traces of language in that.
Zerluan gives a small smile.
That was my father's contribution. He was a great man, but language was not a love of his. It bears no meaning, really. He chose it to make me the first of my own name.
Ah, there is some power in that as well, is there not?
The tiefling asks, his dark eyes boring into the elf before him.
A powerful name is an important thing to have, Zerluan and Ballad. But, alas, we are not here to discuss names and language. You have something for me, I presume?
Yes, of course.
Zerluan reaches into the bag hanging from his waist and draws forth a long tube.
The contract, as drafted by our scribes. Everything should be in order.
Sebastian draws the scrolls forth from the tube, glancing over them in the light from his doorway.
Yes, all is well indeed, with the proper signatures. I will have my own scribes check everything and report to your governor by sending. I do appreciate your taking the time to deliver these in person, Zerluan.
He gives a small bow.
It was my pleasure, Sebastian. If you'll forgive us, we do have a ship to catch, and we might have lingered here a bit long amidst the festivities. We should be on our way.
Of course. Have a safe journey, Ballad. And it was a pleasure,
he says, turning his dark eyes once more on Dolania.
Our Lady of Secrets.
Standing on the pier, she is quiet. Zerluan is frustrated, speaking angrily with the dockmaster. Their vessel had departed without them, and there was no ship leaving for Venthaven before the morning. She waits quietly aside as he argues with the halfling master, but gaining no ground. The night has grown cooler in the moonlight, a mist resting over the port. What had been a warm and lively evening had turned cold after their meeting, and she wasn't sure why.
Our Lady of Secrets,
He had called her. She did not like that at all.
It's no use,
said Zerluan as he settled down beside her in a huff.
I'm afraid we'll be forced to wait. The governor is not going to be pleased.
Sensing his tension, she rests a hand on his.
well, there's nothing to be done about this just now. What say we head back into the town? What did he call it? Brightport? Perhaps we will find some more music and a bite to eat.
She smiles, nudging him with her shoulder.
We're in a new place with no mission left to fulfill, Zerluan. Let's take the time that we've found and make it our own, shall we?
She stands, and with her hand in his, he follows her into the night. Dolenia opens her eyes to the sound of the gulls, cawing in the early morning sun. She is wrapped in the shawl he bought for her the night before, dark purple with stars and moons embroidered into it. A bit gaudy for her taste, but he loved it, and thus she loved it as well. She sits up slowly, stretching on the sand where she lay. His eyes are still closed, mind wandering in his restful trance, and the cool morning air rests on them both. She drifted the night before as they lay side by side, naming the stars as they munched on street food. There are still crumbs on his lapel from the seafood rolls. She rests a hand gently on his shoulder. His eyes slide open, that piercing blue, and her breath catches in her chest.
Good morning, Delania.
Good morning. Rest well?
Oh, never better,
he says with a strain, sitting up and stretching.
Any sight of the dockmaster?
No, not yet.
She looks out over the soft waves of the sea.
Will it be all right?
He rises to his feet, dusting the sand off from his clothes.
Will what be all right?
You're going to be late.
He looks out to the sea as well, watching the waves rolling and falling.
It'll be all right, Delania. It's not the first time someone has been late returning from a mission.
I know that, but last night you said...
I know what I said. But trust me, it's a small thing. Everything will be just fine. Besides,
he says, extending a hand down toward her.
It was worth
it. Completely, utterly, and entirely unacceptable. I can't imagine what in this world or any other you were thinking.
Governor Elevonre rubs his eyes in frustration, taking a seat again behind the ornate desk of cherry wood. Zerluan stands fully armored before him, his back straight, helmet donned.
Governor Honorius, again, I sincerely apologize.
I've heard your apologies. They are empty. An entire battalion of Venthaven's finest soldiers departed our shores 4 nights past on a 5-week journey to the Far East to Barlin's Pass. You were to lead that mission, Zerluan. Or have you forgotten? You are the Lord Captain of Honorius for Prevalian's sake. You knew how important this mission was, how much is weighing on this diplomatic quest, and yet you abandoned it completely, with no notice and nothing to show for it but an apology?
The governor leans back into his seat, looking tired. Zerluan stands silent for a moment, before speaking cautiously.
Governor, Elevonre, you know me. You know I'm faithful to our people, to our cause. I'm truly sorry about the delay of our return. It couldn't be helped.
Elevonre looks up, his eyebrow raised.
Our return? Did someone accompany you on your mission to deliver the contracts?
Yes, Governor. A friend came along with me.
A friend?
Zerluan swallows.
Yes, my lord.
Zerluan, do you take me for a fool? When last we spoke, You said to me that this destiny was your own, that you would be chosen for the Anto Quil, that you would strive for Venthaven and Prevalian's folk. And yet, here we are, exactly where I feared we would be, watching as that destiny slips away from you. And for what? The love of a maiden? Zerluan, at your age, I expected more restraint.
Zerluan does not speak immediately. He considers his words carefully.
Lord Elevonre, it is difficult for me to explain to you what has happened over these past months. I've experienced love in the past, or what I thought to be love anyhow, but with my friend, with Valenia, I feel I have found something different, something more. I might have found a companion for life, Elevonre. Even one blessed by the Anto Quil. Even one in the service of Venthaven. She makes me better, stronger. I do love her, Governor.
And having said it aloud, he knew it in his heart to be true. Truer than anything he'd ever known. Elevonre stands, his hands hanging at his sides, tense.
Be reasonable, Zerluan. A companion for life? You do not know of what you speak. The life you are seeking, a life unending? It makes such companionships difficult, untenable. In your long life, you'll have more time to spend on love than you can imagine, on many loves if you so choose. But your window of opportunity is closing. Not all of Prevalian's children will be chosen as worthy of the Anto Quil. If you continue down this path you are on, if your resolve wavers, then I'm afraid you will miss your chance altogether, my boy.
He steps around the desk, placing his hands on both of Zerluan's shoulders, then embraces him, his left hand resting on the back of his head.
My son, these days are vital. To continue forward, you must establish your priorities. Will you give your life to your people, to your future, as you have so promised? Or will you watch as that slips through your fingers?
And at his words, spoken near and with care, Zerluan weeps. In the dark of this cloudy night in the city of Venthaven, she can see them as clear as day through the tall window behind them. From her perch, she is nothing less than shadow, a part of the darkness around her. With a hand placed softly on the glass pane, she can hear their words. She had watched them before countless times, watched and listened, of their grand plans and devices, of their city by the sea, and their gifts of long life. Each time she had listened, and each time, to her master she recounted what she heard. A good little spy, always, and obedient to a fault. But this was different. As she watched the two of them embracing, as she saw Zerluan weeping, she felt the pain of it all, the betrayal, the abandonment, but mostly the pain of her own guilt. She'd never meant to feel any of these things at all, and yet as she slinked off into the shadows of the moonlit street behind her, she felt them all, deeply. She passed through the paths and streets of the sea city as quiet as a breeze. She crossed from the blue-lit street lamps to the shadows, moving slowly and methodically at first. But her pain grew within her chest, a dark flame lit with shame and misery. And soon she was running, flitting from corner to corner as fast as her body would take her. And that was fast. Her eyes burned as tears stung her cheeks, and she hated herself for it. She was thankful to see the lights of Venthaven fading behind her as she sped toward the crags to the east. Her pain hadn't lessened, but she had a task to complete, and so she pressed the hurt down, deeper into her chest, and steeled herself for what lay ahead. She stopped outside the crevasse, a few miles north of the temple Zalberstone. Her dark cloak rippled in the sharp winds as she peered down into the darkness. But she was not afraid. The dark was her home. She knew what it withheld. With a light breath, she stepped forward, falling down into shadow. Fluttering down to the cold paths below, she then walks forward in complete darkness, one with the shadows. With each step, she changes. Her pain remains sharp ice within. But as her form reflects the dark around her, she suppresses the roaring within her heart. All at once, she sees it. An orange glow ahead. Just beyond, in the same cavern she'd visited countless times over these months, Dolania knew she would be waiting.
Oh, there you are. I was wondering if I'd be hearing from you soon. Please, come, sit. We were just having a cup of tea.
The cold darkness of the crevasse is behind her, like a wall of water, shimmering in the glow of Otonia's orange light. Before her, the goddess sits in a cushioned armchair by a warm fireplace. Her coffee-colored skin shines as the light emanates from around her. The goddess is no more than 4 feet tall, her brown hair just beyond shoulder length, tangled, unkempt. She's wearing the same short dress she always does, woven together with leaves of green, orange, and red that cling tightly to her curvaceous figure. Across from the goddess sits another, a halfling by all appearance. Her dark hair is draped over her shoulders, with streaks of bright green shining through. She turns to face the darkness.
Oh, hello, dear sister. You must have some tea. It is divine. Quite literally,
she says with a chuckle. Dolania walks toward them. In the light, she is taller, darker. Her skin is still pale, but her eyes are pure shadow, as is her cloak and robe, flowing with a breeze that isn't blowing.
Goddess, I have come to report my observations, as requested.
Otonia sips from her tea, then sits it gingerly on the saucer in her other hand.
Dimvarga, won't you sit? There's no rush. Or is there?
She says with a questioning eye. Dimvarga steps forward, but does not sit.
Thank you, Goddess, but I must decline. I'm afraid I've become quite tired, but I have some thanks to report.
Otonia nods.
Go on, then.
The governor is dealing with the new settlement, Brightport. They're looking to expand their study of magic and use of magic weapons. But the gift of Prevalian is not part of the contract.
I see. Continue.
The governor spoke of it clearly to the captain. He says that he will be chosen by Prevalian if he will establish his priorities.
the captain, you say? Don't you mean your little elvish pet?
Latonia sits her cup and saucer on the table.
That'll be enough of that, Vinraya,
she says with a cut of her eyes. Vinraya looks down, silent.
You do know what this means, don't you?
Dimvarga stands silently, staring.
I know, Goddess. What does it mean?
It means,
she says, standing and walking toward her,
that our opportunity has finally arrived. This captain, Zerluan and Ballad, he is our ticket to the gift. If he can receive Prevalian's blessing, then we can take it. The Aunt O Kuil will become the gift of Otonia. And I will finally get her back for what she did to me.
She places a warm, glowing hand on Dimvarga's cheek.
My child, you have almost finished your task. Lure the boy in. Tell him you'll wait for him. You'll remain by his side, come what may, but reaffirm his commitment to Prevalian and their city, and wait. Soon, very soon I suspect, he will receive the gift. And when he does, he will tell you everything.
Dimvarga bows her head, tears burning the back of her eyes as the pain threatens to roar back to life within her.
As you wish, goddess, so it shall be done.
Very good, Dimvarga. Very good. That's why you're the best. I will be anxiously awaiting your next report. Now go home, get some rest. You deserve it.
With a twirl, she turns and sits back in her cozy armchair. And as Dimvarga turns to leave, she catches the sharp look in the eye of her sister, the green eye of envy. Her footsteps echo off the stone walls as she passes down the long hallway of the temple's Zauberstone. In her flight back from the crevasse, she had wept great tears, but now she must bury them. She would tame her heart. She would overcome what she had felt, and she would do as her goddess asked. Finally reaching her chambers, she opened the door, her head bowed, and stepped inside, closing it behind her.
Dolania.
She spins around in fear at the voice behind her, but that fear is immediately replaced with longing, shame, confusion. There he was, sitting on her bedside, waiting for her.
Zerluan, what are you doing in here? Do the clerics know that you're...
I had to come, Dolania. I had to see you.
Now, in the lamplight, she sees him fully, as the sound of the soft rain echoes through the window behind him. His arms are bare, his chest covered with a white shirt, and that ocean blue armor he bore with such pride was nowhere to be seen.
Zerluan, what's wrong? Where is your armor?
I left it, Dolania. I left it all behind. The armor, the title, the everything. I gave it all away. The governor, he couldn't understand, and I suppose I didn't either until I saw my future. He gave me a choice. Either I live my future for Venthaven, for Prevalian, or I live it for love.
As he speaks, she draws nearer and nearer to him, seated on her bed. His golden hair hangs loosely around his head, his eyes still wet with the night's tears.
I could not live this life without love. I could not choose a life, even an endless life, without you in it, Dolania. You are my life, love.
Not speaking a word, she takes his face in her hands, looking down into his piercing blue eyes. In that single breath, all the unsaid words, all the thoughts and desires and dreams she'd held in her life were washed away by the look in those eyes. And all at once the fire burned. And Dolania, Dimvarga the Shapeless, the black Dracon Kelly, gave her future away in one kiss. The moonlight gleams in through the crystal window behind them in the sanctuary of the temple Zauberstone. He stands before her, hands tenderly held. His goldenrod hair is pulled back, clasped with a silver brooch of hers. She is dressed in a simple white gown, her dark hair flowing down her back, held by a band of silver stones shimmering like starlight. Before them, the priestess of Prevalian stands patiently waiting in her robes of pearl, the scallop of her goddess radiant on her chest.
I, Zerluan and Ballad, the elf in light, choose you, Dolania Moonbow. as my life love, my companion, and my wife. I vow to be yours as long as life may keep me, and to await you in the life hereafter. I am yours, and you are mine.
The priestess then takes the golden cord from Delania's wrist and ties their hands together.
I, Delania Moonbow.
She hesitates a moment, takes a deep breath, then continues.
The elf without secrets. Choose you, Zerluan and Ballad, as my life love, my companion, and my husband. I vow to be yours for as long as my life may keep me, and to await you in the life hereafter. You are mine, and I am yours.
With the honor of Pervalian, I offer this blessing, the gift of lifelong love. Fate has brought you together, and I sense a great future before you both. May the gods lighten your way, and may you bring life, light, and love to one another.
The two lean forward, their foreheads touching in the moonlight. Then they kiss for the first time as life loves, as husband and wife. And with that kiss, they seal for themselves and their world a fate that neither could ever have known. Her chambers are quiet as the fireplace burns low. His breathing is soft and rhythmic as she stares up at the white stone ceiling, the memories of this day running over and over through her head. She had gone from conflicted to grieving to falling irrevocably in love with this elf. And now he was her husband, her life love. She had taken a vow before his god, but she had also deceived him. She was not afraid of the gods, not really. The nature of her power made her invisible to their sight, if she so chose. She was the shapeless, and they had made her so for a reason.
Otonia made me this way for a reason,
She thought. Otonia. She did not know what the goddess would do when she discovered the truth. The truth terrified her. And now with her life love resting beside her, she wonders, could she give him the truth of her? Could she share with this man, this dear, lovely elf, to whom she had given herself, her love, her future? Could she also give him her past? She sits up in the dim light, and he stirs.
Delania,
He says, placing his hand on the small of her back.
have I ever told you you are the most beautiful creature that the gods have ever made?
She smiles at him.
A few times, yes.
Oh, yes. Forgive me. It's as if, in your presence, my mind can't hold itself together. You've unraveled me, my love.
He leans toward her, resting his head on her lap.
I'm someone else now. Rather, I'm someone I used to be once more. My mother.
He pauses, remembering her.
My mother used to tell me I was someone else. What I told Blackfire was true. My father gave me the name Zerluan. It was a good name, singular, strong, but my mother told me,
He says, taking her hand in his.
She told me that I was more than strength. She said I was the joy in her. And so she gave me another name, one only she used for me.
Looking up at her, he smiles.
Fierin, the joy in me. With you, Delania, I've found myself again. My joy, my love, and you have returned the joy in me.
She looks into his eyes, piercing blue.
Faerin.
She kisses him again, sweetly. Then she slips off from their bed, rising to her feet, and faces him.
Is everything all right, my love?
Faerin, there are some things I must tell you. If we are to be life loves, then you deserve the truth of me.
He sits up, looking into her eyes intently.
I know the truth of you, Dolinia. I know the heart of you. I'm yours, and you are mine.
She feels the tears coming, again stinging the back of her eyes.
I am yours, my love, forever, if you'll have me. But there's more.
Shifting to the edge of the bed, he lets his feet rest on the cold floor.
All right. My love, I'm listening. There's nothing you could say that would change my love for you. I've already let everything else go.
She steels herself, drawing from extraordinary strength, from her very being. Then, looking as deeply as she can into his eyes, she speaks.
I'm not who you think I am.
Who is she?
My name isn't Dolania Moonbow. Not really.
What is her name?
I am one of the 10, whom your people call the faithful.
His breath stops, the darkness in the room growing around her as she grows taller, stronger.
I am the Black Dragon, one of the Dracon Kelly. My name is Dimvarga. But now,
she says, falling on her knees before him on the bed, his hands in hers.
I have taken form.
She shrinks again, the darkness drawing in on her, and she is once again nothing more than his wife, his life-love, his own, and she weeps. He is silent at first as he takes her in his arms. He holds her as she cries, and his mind reels.
Dimvarga.
He remembers now. He had seen her once. A lithe beast, fluid like ink. She had flown in with the others to celebrate the victory at the gates of Dimmerhold. He could not fathom that this creature, this lovely, fragile woman in his arms, could hold that kind of power. And she had chosen him. Pulling his arms back, he takes her face in his hands. Her pupils and irises are black, indistinguishable.
Dolin Dimvarga, you are my wife. No matter what you've been or what you will be, that is one thing that will never change. You are mine, and I am yours.
A sob escapes her throat.
Yes, Dimvarga and Faerin. I am yours. You are mine.
As the fireplace flickers, they fade into one another's arms. The moonlight shines high above the temple, shining and glittering in the now clear night. To the west, the pale moonlight gleams off of the arcane bead over Venthaven, like a vast pearl of Prevalian's power.
Now you remember. You know who she is, and you know who you were, Faerin. But who are you now?
Ages pass in a moment, seasons upon seasons, years upon years. The plains of Branshire, the mountains of Dimmerhold, the heat of the dry lands, and the forests of Fallen Grove. They travel the world over and see it all. Many places they had been before, but never together as one. Life was new, and Manumi was theirs, and theirs alone. Some places, however, were new even to a captain of the Enorians. Traveling through the eastern seas, she takes him down into a sunken ship where even the sea is breathable and wonders abound within. In the stark Elder Mountains, they visit a beautiful mountain temple, lavish and hidden within a bowl of the sharp rocks and crags. In the hot, sandy drylands, they descended into a hidden labyrinth beneath the surface of the deserts, dark and endless. Strange beings inhabited its deep halls, and they discovered paths hitherto untraveled within. Years abroad, away from their previous posts, the two traveled once more to the far west. Within the realm of Fallen Grove, they felt an uneasiness about their travel. Both had previously received the sanction of Etonia's lands, but as they passed the Kalin River, they found that its autumn winds felt eerily cooler than before. But soon the paths of Fallen Grove opened before them, weaving through the miles that would take them to their reluctant destination, Venthaven, home. Some weeks later, the two of them step out of the northern jungles. The path leads down toward the elven city by the sea, Elf Home. Zerluan feels his chest tighten as he observes his city. The blue light of the lantern twinkles and glows through the city lights in the valley below. It has changed in the years since he'd left, grown taller, wider. The road leads them down the winding hill of the valley toward the city. Before them, the luminescent membrane of the arcane bead shimmers. The air around them hums with power as they pass through it, and the sweet smell of home fills his nostrils, that of lavender, of the sea, and the power of Prevalian's lantern. Dressed in simple traveling garb, they wander the streets together, her hand locked in his. They visit a new market on the northern side of the city, where citizens sell their wares, jewelry crafted from sea stones and shells, street foods and exotic clothes, weapons and arcane implements, the life and culture of Venthaven on display. They rest on the grass near the market where the children are playing kick the ball as they eat their hot lunch, buttery lobster on a freshly baked bread roll.
I love this city,
he says, as they approach the central avenue in the late afternoon sun.
I have loved it from the moment we grew the Tower of Prevalian from the first marble slab. It is my home, the first place of my people. I hadn't realized how much I'd missed it.
She looks up at him, his blue eyes beaming with feeling.
My Theron, you are always so sentimental,
she says, teasingly nudging him in the side. She wraps her arm around his, laying her head on his shoulder as they walk.
That is just one more reason why I love you.
Soon they approach the tower itself, tall and pure. The standing flutes sing in the wind of the valley. Zerluan lets go of her hand, turning toward her.
I won't be long.
Be careful, Theron. He will not be pleased that you've been gone so long.
He sighs.
I know.
He kisses her on the forehead, then turns away. She watches him worriedly as he walks up the white staircase toward the entrance. Passing through the atrium in the same halls he'd seen so many times, he comes to the door of the governor's chamber. He hesitates, his heart beating loudly in his chest, before lifting his hand and knocking softly. The voice of Elevandre Honorius rings from inside.
You may come in.
He turns the handle, stepping in. The governor is seated at his large cherry wood desk, his eyes focused on many scrolls and leaves of paper spread out before him. He looks up as Zerluan steps toward him, and his eyes betray his surprise. He drops the quill he was holding, then leans back, looking up at him.
By Prevalian's grace, where have you been?
Zerluan gives a bow of respect.
It has been some time, Governor Honorius.
Looking up again, he sees as Elevonre stands, walks around the large desk, and embraces him. It is a kind and affectionate embrace, and although surprised by the emotion of it, Zerluan returns it in kind.
I am very glad to see you, my boy. When last we spoke,
he says, looking down for just a moment.
Well, let us not speak of past sadness. I must admit, there were times when I had feared the worst over these passing years of your absence. But alas, here you stand, and you look well,
he says, pushing him out at arm's length.
I am well, Elevonre. I am very well indeed.
Elevonre smiles at him.
Good. Very good. Now tell me,
he says, taking one of the guest seats nearby and motioning for Zerluan to join him.
Where in Prevalian's good graces have you been?
They sit, and Zerluan talks. He tells him of his marriage to Dolania, which is no surprise to him. He speaks of their journey to the east by sea. He tells of the wonders of the wide world, although he never specifically mentions the pillars of Manumi that Dimvarga had showed him. He speaks of the wideness of the world, of all they could not see here in the valley of Venthaven. Elevonre smiles, nodding as he speaks of all he'd seen and how he had lived.
Remarkable, my boy. You have seen much of what our world has to offer, and in that I do envy you somewhat. But tell me, Zerluan,
he says, leaning forward,
what of the city places of the world? Did you visit Branshire, Dimmerhold, and the Corin Tree in Fallen Grove? Did you see the handprints of Prevalian's folk in the other corners of Manumi?
Zerluan nods.
Yes, I did see them. The Temple of Palor's shining light of majesty among the humans. Prevalian's touch is apparent even in that far realm. And to the sealing light of Dimmerhold, the enchanted moonstone brings her true light to Deveter's children. As for the Corin Tree, I only observed it from afar,
he says, hesitating a bit.
But there is nothing quite like it in all the lands of Manumi.
Elevonre nods, quiet for a moment.
Prevalian's touch, her powerful hand resting on every realm of our world. This is as it should be.
He stands again, walking toward the wall behind him. There's a simple map hung on the pearl wall, depicting the greater outline of the world of Manumi. He motions to the 4 realms shown clearly.
Branshire, Dimmerhold, Fallen Grove, and Venthaven, the 4 points of Manumi. They are so called, for they are the key points of this world. Each land holds a fingerprint of our goddess, her power emanating through each of the distant realms. And those points, those fingerprints, create a weave,
he says, waving his hand from one point to the next, then again and again, and a form of light follows his motion. Each wave of light is woven together again and again, and the lights hover downward, settling in the shape of a small, glowing lantern resting on the floor between them. The image burns with bright blue light before them, then dissipates, leaving only the form glowing behind their eyelids.
This, my boy, is the weave. And with each passing moment, each minute, and each hour that the points hold her touch, the lantern's power grows, building. And as long as the realms of this world persist, so shall Venthaven. So long as Prevalian's fingerprint remains in each point, the weave flows and the lantern is untouchable, unbreakable, and therefore, so is magic. This is our gift to them, and their gift to us, whether they know it or not.
Zerluan looks at him, his friend, his mentor.
But they do not know it, do they, Governor?
Elevonre's deep green eyes look intently into his.
No, my boy, they do not.
Later that night, back in his old home on the southern end of Venthaven, he tells her all that he had learned that night. He had often wondered why his people had waited to build their home last, aiding in the construction of each other land before finally returning to their destined city to begin. But now he understood. By placing Prevalian's touch on the other 3 points of Manumi, they had secured the future and power of their own, While this had not taken anything away from the other peoples of the world, it had actually helped them. In fact, it still seemed to him dishonest.
Faerin, what your people did was a good thing. It has brought further beauty and power to the world. I mean, just imagine how different the realm of Dimmerhold would be without the invention of their moonstone.
I know, of course, you're right, Dolenia, but why keep it a secret at all? Why hide it from our allies as we enter, finally, and for the first time, into an age of peace unknown?
Fear,
she says.
For fear they would not receive it. People fear what they do not understand, my love. In this case, perhaps it was simply easier to accomplish the betterment of our world through a white lie of omission.
Perhaps,
he says, rubbing his eyes.
But what would she do if she knew?
Dimvarga's eyes turned darker in the lamplight.
There is a simple answer to that, my love. She must never know.
North of Venthaven, a few days' journey into the depths of the jungles, the two take their rest within the hollow of an enormous kapok tree. The large roots and thick leaves shield them from the constant drip of rain as they eat a cold supper at sunset.
Are we close, you think?
She sighs as she pours him a cup of water.
My love, I told you. It doesn't work that way. The final pillar isn't the same as the others. It only appears when it feels the need to reveal itself. But to answer your question, yes,
she says, handing him his cup.
I do think we're close. It shouldn't be long, and it will show itself to us.
He sips the clean water, the sound of the falling rain singing through the forest.
Good. I'm excited to see it for myself.
He sips the water again, quiet, as she lays her head on his shoulder.
It is the last of the 4 pillars. Once we see this one, what will we do next, Faerin?
Oh, I don't know. There are yet more parts of the world we haven't seen. We could go and see them. We could visit the icy realms north of the Icefall Mountains, see the land south of Branshire, delve through the deep forest, or we could take a vessel and sail away from this land. See what, if anything, lies beyond,
he says, dramatically waving his arm in a wide arc before them.
Or we could always return home, build up my house, settle our lives in Venthaven, or anywhere you would like, really.
She sighs.
Maybe. I won't lie to you. I am afraid.
He looks down at her, leaning on his shoulder.
Afraid? Afraid? You? My love, you are Dimvarga the Shapeless. You are as powerful as any being in this world. You have nothing to fear.
She nudges him affectionately.
Don't exaggerate, Faerin. We both know there are some yet who hold much more power than I.
He nods softly in the fading light.
I suppose. But with your power, she cannot see you. Or me, for that matter. Now we are shapeless.
Yes, we are. But for how long? How long, Faerin, before she finds us? She is a goddess, my love. In spite of my ability to keep us hidden, I can't help but feel that the only reason she has yet to come to me is because she is not ready,
she says, looking out into the rain.
She is planning something.
Dolenia,
he says, lifting her chin toward him.
We both stepped outside of the lives we had previously lived. We left them behind. There are many who would have chosen differently for us, for both of us. But that choice, in the end, was our own. I'll admit, I was afraid when I spoke to the governor. I feared his wrath, his disappointment. But the moment he saw me, I realized that my fears were unfounded. He's a good man, and your goddess, Atonia, is she not a good god of Manumi? The gods are good, Dimvarga. Look all they've given us,
he says, motioning to the rain, the green jungles, and the fading beams of the setting sun.
If we cannot trust them, then who can we trust?
She looks up into his piercing blue eyes for the millionth time, and her heart stutters, just as always. She leans up, kissing him softly on the lips as the rain drips rhythmically around their tree.
Perhaps you're right, Faerin. Perhaps my fear has been unfounded. Perhaps I have been running from my own fears, and not the gods. We are one, you and I.
She says, locking her fingers in with his.
We have chosen a new life for ourselves, a new world. Perhaps it is time we stop running and make it our own.
And he kisses her again.
You must wait here. As soon as I am sure that it is safe, I will call for you.
They stand at the foot of an enormous black structure. Its levels are stacked, layer upon layer, flowing upward. A great onyx ziggurat. A placid lake surrounds them in the cool moonlight, where they stand on a still stone mound at the foot of a long staircase. The black steps lead up toward the flat top of the structure, where an opening leads into the dark.
You know I hate this part.
He crosses his arms.
What am I to do if you run into trouble?
She grins wickedly in the pale light of the moon.
Oh, dearest Faerin, I am the trouble.
In a flash, quicker than quick, she darts up the dark stone steps, a serpent of pure shadow. Creatures chirp and croak, engulfing the night in their chorus as she approaches the entrance to the onyx ziggurat. But the moment her shaded form crosses under the darkness of the roof, the chorus disappears, leaving a stunning silence in its wake. Dim purple flames flicker from the torches around the walls in the entrance. Inside, Dimvarga feels as the darkness presses in on her all at once. Even the dark jungles cannot compare to the deep dark of the onyx ziggurat. But she is no stranger to darkness. Rather, she is in comfort, at home in the folds of obscurity. And as she moves subtly down the long stair, she embraces the dark fully, a creature of such blackness that no mortal eye could discern her movements, no matter the skill. But in her moment of indulgence, she fails to consider what might already be waiting in the dark. And as she slips down the forsaken hallways, two eyes open from behind her, shining a knowing and sly green. She continues deeper within the ziggurat, pausing from time to time to observe empty rooms and halls. It is cooler down here, but not uncomfortably so. And each room holds a hearth, warm with a fire burning. After a time, she finally finds what she's searching for. A kitchen, well lit, with a stove burning hot. Dimvarga steps inside, slipping into her typical form.
Hello there, Glum. It is pleasant to see you.
Standing at a small table near the wood stove and oven is a strange figure indeed. No more than 3 feet tall, with a long pointed nose and small sharp teeth. Glum looks over his half-moon spectacles toward his visitor. He dusts his hands on a dark purple apron, leaving prints of white flour on his chest.
Well, if it isn't the Lady Dimvarga, it is most pleasant to have you here once more in the ziggurat. It has been a long time, Your Majesty.
He grins in the light of the kitchen, his pale skin practically luminescent as he bows reverently toward her.
Oh, Glum, you know I don't care for such titles. Dimvarga will be just fine. Might I ask, what are you making?
He motions toward the mixing bowl in front of him.
Cookies, Your Majesty. Chocolate with a touch of sun-dried orange peel.
That sounds wonderful, Glum. Some warm cookies might be just what the cleric ordered. Perhaps you might want some help. I have a companion with me, waiting in the swamps outside. I will go and fetch him, and the two of us will help with the cookies. If you don't mind, of course.
Glum gives another reverent bow.
Not at all, Your Majesty. Nothing would please me more.
Very good,
she says with a smile, turning to go back.
Milady, I would caution you to be careful, however.
She stops, looking back from the doorway.
Oh? I know the ziggurat carries its own dangers, Glum. Or is there something more specific?
Glum continues to stir his cookie dough as he speaks.
Nothing too dangerous, Your Majesty. Just our other house guest. She asked me not to disturb her. And you know she can be somewhat temperamental, your sister, the Green.
Faerin, where are you? Faerin!
She cries into the darkness, her draconic voice breaking through. Her eyes take in the night, but there is no sign of him. The stone where he'd sat waiting holds 2 packs, all of their traveling provisions in one place. But her husband is nowhere to be found. She spreads 2 great black wings from her slender back, ready to take flight and rend the jungles to the ground in search of him, when she hears it. A soft giggle ringing down from the rooftop of the ziggurat.
Oh dear, you have got it bad, haven't you?
Dimvarga takes flight, slicing through the air toward her sister. Her hands stretch into great black claws as she drives into her, dragging her back on the smooth black stone.
Where is he, Benrea? Where is Faerin?
Benrea's bright eyes flash, and her body disappears in a green haze surrounding Dimvarga.
Oh, don't worry your pretty little head, sister. You'll see your pet again soon enough. The more pressing question is, where have you been, Dimvarga?
She has been looking for you everywhere, you know. Dimvarga slithers back to the edge of the rooftop, out of the presence of Benrea's haze. She reappears on the other side, her hands on her hips and her head tilted to the side in amusement. She speaks through gritted teeth.
Do not toy with me, sister. Tell me where he is, right now, or you have my word. I will litter this bog with your sly blood.
Benrea's roguish countenance slips at the venom in her threat. But before either can speak a single retort, they are both transported. Between one blink and the next, both draconic sisters open their eyes in a large sitting room. The warm hearth is glowing, and in a tall red and orange armchair, with her legs crossed and thin lips pressed, sits the goddess of autumn.
Ah, there you are, Dimvarga.
Under the fierce gaze of the goddess, Dimvarga shrinks. Her great black wings and claws retract, and she seems to take on the appearance of a younger woman, smaller, more subservient.
Goddess,
Thank you, Benrea. You're a good girl for calling me here. You have been a very helpful and faithful servant,
she says, holding a bent hand toward her. Benrea takes the hand, kissing it, then steps over behind her tall sitting chair.
Atonia, I am sorry if I have offended you. Please allow me to explain.
Yes, my child. You will explain. Explain why my greatest servant has been entirely absent over these last few years. Explain why you have been hiding yourself from my own powers, hidden from detection, to the point that even my own family began to wonder where you had disappeared to. Explain why I find you here, in a sacred and secret place, with one of her children, the very one you were supposed to leverage for my own intentions and purposes. Please, Dimvarga, explain.
She keeps her head lowered for a long moment, but within her chest her heart is thrumming loudly.
Atonia, goddess, I will tell you everything you wish to know, withholding absolutely nothing. You have my word. Please, just tell me where he is. Where is Faerin?
She doesn't answer, but over her shoulder Benrea shifts, a small grin pulling at the corner of her mouth.
Faerin, the joy in me. I thought his name was Zerluan and Ballad, captain of the Enorians? A perfect window to the secrets of Prevalian and her lapdog Elevanre? Or have you forgotten your promises to me, Dimvarga? Have you forgotten your purpose?
She feels those hot tears stinging the back of her eyes again. She had not forgotten her purpose. She had found it. She had been Atonia's greatest servant, a pawn in an ongoing rivalry between divine siblings. But now that she had found love, truly found it, her purpose and her life were her own, and she would not stand by and watch it disappear. Not now, not ever. She lifts her head toward the goddess, her jaw set.
Atonia, I offer my sincere apologies for the way I deceived you. It was cowardly and wrong. But I will deceive you no longer. It is true that the gods gave us life, power, and for a long time, purpose. But the War of Light has ended. Hopenkel dwells in the east, aiding the humans in their knowledge of the earth and their fields of grain. Kilmont is judge of the north, ridding the mountains of any corruption that might stand in the way of the first kingdom of the dwarves. Each of my siblings has chosen their path,
She says with a sharp glance toward Venrea.
Am I not also free to choose my own?
Atonia looks on her quietly for a moment, her eyes burning with orange light.
It sounds to me like you already have, Umbarga, regardless of what I might say or think. And so, yes, I suppose you are free to choose your own path. But you made a promise to me, child. And if you will not keep your word, then I suppose I must choose my own path as well. And that is not an outcome which you will enjoy, my dear.
Is that a threat, Atonia? I have already given you so much of my life. I am not beholden to give any more of it. And I won't betray my life love, nor his people.
The goddess is on her feet in a blink, her hand iron hot on Dimvarga's collar.
What do you know, girl? What have you learned? I command you, Dimvarga. Tell me.
At her voice, the orange light from her eyes engulfs them both, blasting out from them through the slitted window of the ziggurat behind her. Dimvarga falters under the blaze of her autumnal light, but swiftly she recovers, and her form shifts. Her body writhes into shadow, serpentine, as she pushes back against the goddess's might. Atonia's eyes grow wide, and then her brow is set in anger.
Little dragon, you would dare raise a hand against me, a goddess of Manumi? I gave you life, girl. You owe me. You made me a promise.
As Atonia's voice builds, so does her light. And even with the considerable strength of the faithful, Dimvarga cannot stand against the power of a god. She is thrown back harshly against the stone wall, and with a yell, the blast of orange light pushes her body through the stone, blasting outward through the side of the ziggurat. Outside the ziggurat, Zerluan is getting restless. He thought he'd heard footsteps earlier coming from the entrance, but he'd been mistaken. They had done this each time they'd visited one of these bizarre places, these pillars of Manumi, but it had never taken this long. Still, he'd promised to wait for her, so he waits. For now. Right when he has just about had enough of waiting, he hears it. A booming sound from within the ziggurat. He launches to his feet in an instant, his hand going for the longsword at his hip. But before he can take the first step, a second boom rings out across the water as a radiant orange light bursts through the cracks of the ziggurat, followed by an explosion of onyx stone and light. Flying down toward the water, he sees her, a great serpent of black shadow. She cries out in the night as she splashes down into the water, the stones and rubble pelting her below.
Dalinia! Dimvarga!
He cries as he runs forward toward her. But in an instant, she blasts up again in a rain of stone and water, cutting through the air toward the blasted gap in the wall. At the entrance, he sees her, a small, feminine figure bathed in orange light. But the black dragon engulfs her, driving them both back into the ziggurat once more. He runs, fast as his elven body will take him, up the stairs, crossing the threshold and down into the darkness below. His eyes do not take in the dark like hers, but the fire and fury in his chest drives him forward, deeper into the strange monolith. Growls and roars fill the halls as he dashes, barely breathing through the dark. Door upon door, stair upon stair, he runs.
I'm coming, Dalinia!
He cries for her. The only answer is the crashing of battle and the enraged roars ringing toward him. A fury of orange light, mingled with black and green flame, bursts into the hallway from a crumbled doorway ahead. Beyond it, a small figure wearing a purple apron stumbles, then turns and runs in the opposite direction. Zerluan grasps his sword in one hand, taking a small orb from his pocket in the other. Without a second thought, he dashes forward, entering the chamber through the broken entrance. The room is madness. Large enough to be a ballroom, it is still too small for the powerful figures within. 2 fully formed dragons are wrapped up in their battle. One, his beloved, her scales slick and black as her serpentine body wraps around her opponent to squeeze as she strikes. The other, a poisonous green, vivid against the blackness of her sister. She is smaller, but wider in stature, stronger. Her great green claws slash across Dimvarga's long back, bringing a shattering roar from her lips. Then, from between the two, the small, feminine figure appears, and calmly placing a hand upon each dragon's head, an ear-shattering pulse of air and light blasts into them both. At once, their eyes roll back, their bodies go rigid, and they fall, crashing onto the stone floor beneath them. Benrea groans, slinking back toward the opposite wall, watching as the goddess Atonia descends on Dimvarga. She shrinks again into her base elven form. Black blood is running freely along her arms and her back, where claws have rended her flesh. As Atonia reaches the ground beside her, a groan from her lips is cut off as the goddess takes her pale neck in her hand, lifting her from the floor.
I am so disappointed, child. Very disappointed. And now you will know the wrath of a goddess scorned.
She raises the other hand toward the limp form of Dimvarga, ready to strike.
No!
Atonia looks up just in time to see him, as the orb in his left hand burns out around him, and his body is launched toward them with lightning speed. With his right hand thrust forward, the entirety of his weight behind it, the sword is driven deep into the body of the little goddess. As his sword pierces her chest, his body collides with hers, unmoving, firm as the kapok tree. She feels his bones crack with the impact, but only for a moment, as around the wound in her chest comes a molten orange flame. Flames of divine power surround the both of them, and the limp form of Dimvarga is thrown aside. The goddess cries out,
Foolish elf! Look what you've done!
He screams silently into the inferno of orange power as it engulfs her and him, and the brightness of that pain drowns out the night. She awakens in a dark place. The stone floor is cold, mossy, and the very air is damp. The constant dripping of water tries to keep her mind away, but she pulls herself up from her stupor and looks into the darkness around her. She is lying on the cold stone floor of a cavern, deep beneath the surface of Manumi. There is a dark lake, still but for the slow dripping overhead. The lake surrounds a perfectly circular island of stone and earth where she is lain. As she pulls herself to her feet, her bones and joints ache with the strain of it. She feels the dried blood on her clothes, stuck to her body, marks of her battle with her sister, the ever sly Benrea. As she stands, gathering herself, she suddenly remembers. A voice in the midst of her fury, his voice, piercing through, her name. Looking up, she sees him. In the middle of the slick island, there is a small green tree with bright red leaves. It stands out in stark contrast to the bleak dreariness of the cavern around them. Tied to the tree with hot orange chains is her husband, Zerluan and Ballad, Feyarin. His eyes are closed, his golden hair draped haphazardly around his face as his head is slumped forward. His chest is completely bare, and his body is scarred with burns, red and orange. The remains of his robes hang on him in charred tatters around his waist and legs. Standing before him, her hands over her face, is the goddess of autumn.
It should never have gone this far, Dimvarga. I never wanted this.
Dimvarga steps forward toward them both, faltering and weak.
What have you done to him?
As quickly as she can manage, she reaches him, stumbling in the last step, falling onto her knees with her hands on his limp legs. Tears burn down her cheeks.
What have you done to him?
I did not do this, Dimvarga. He did it to himself. He wounded me. Being that close to a god, my power was unleashed and it engulfed us both.
She pauses, looking down at Dimvarga as she weeps.
He is not dead yet, but if he is not helped, and soon, then yes, he will die.
Straining, Dimvarga pushes herself again to her feet, facing the goddess.
Help him, then.
Otonia sighs.
My child, I want to help him. I do. But just as he is wounded, so am I. I need to know what you have learned. I need to understand my sister's goals, her plans. I can sense it. Prevalian plans to overtake the world with her children, for the elves to rule Manumi. Don't you see it? I cannot continue another moment in this world with her power hanging over me. Tell me, Dimvarga, help me, and I will help you.
Do not.
Dimvarga's head snaps back to the tree, burning and bleeding. Feyarin's voice crackles in the darkness.
This is not your purpose, my Delania. Do not give her what she asks.
Tears well up in her chest, out from her eyes, as his head droops again, still. Gazing upon the goddess before her, suddenly she seems smaller, broken, just as she had been small and broken when Feyarin found her and made her complete.
I am sorry, goddess. I hurt for you, for your fears and insecurities. I pray you will find peace in this world that you've created. But for no price on this world will I break the love that I have found. I am his, and he is mine.
Dimvarga steps toward him, placing both hands on his chest, and begins to channel her own life force into his, to heal him, to bring him back from the brink. No. She is wrenched from him, thrown like a tiny pebble across the still lake.
No, it wasn't supposed to be like this. I cannot go on with nothing. I'll be a wretch, driven out, a castaway of the Pantheon. You say you will not help me? Then you must learn, child. You will learn.
Otonia holds a hand up to Zerluan's head, her eyes wide and wild in the dark. The burning orange chains pull his body tight against the tree. The sound of cracking ribs pops through the cavern as a broken scream wrenches forth from his chest. And out from his mouth and eyes burns a pure white light, and his head falls again limp and lifeless, his body an empty shell.
No!
From within Dimvarga erupts a black fury as she slams into the goddess, lashing, clawing, biting. She is a relentless form of wrath and black blood. But this time Otonia is ready for her. With each claw and flash of teeth, She steps aside, waving them off, flittering from place to place. Then she appears above the dragon, placing another soft palm on the back of her head, and Dimvarga is driven harshly to the stone floor, once more drawn into her elvish form. She sobs, weeping openly onto the stone floor.
Why? Why would you do this?
I am sorry. It had to be this way. Don't you understand that I've helped you? This elf's life would have ended regardless. At least this way I can help you. I can remove the pain from you, Dimvarga. I can make it all go away. I just need you to help me. And everything will be all right. She looks into the goddess's wild, strange eyes, and just behind her she sees the empty form of her life love, Feyerin's limp body hanging, and everything goes black. The scream erupts from her like something beyond creation. Out from her body bursts black flame, powerful and all-consuming. Latonia is covered in her moment of surprise, but the black conflagration floods the cavern, licking at the waters, covering the stone and moss and earth and tree and bodies. She is gone. The fire burns down, and in its wake all is turned to obsidian. Every ounce of her power spent, power she did not know she possessed. Dimvarga crawls toward the body of her life love. The tree is dead, but petrified. It is black as the stones surrounding it, its branches devoid of any leaf or life. The orange chains are now black and broken, dangling. And from the chains hangs Zerluan, Feyerin. His goldenrod hair is now dark as the night sky. His skin black and smooth as the wings of the raven. His body is warm, but in his chest no life glows.
Hopenkel, Pronciana, Palor, Dervetter, Prevalian! Please, help me. I need you now. Please.
The sound of wings and footsteps rings through the dark cavern beneath the onyx ziggurat. Whispers can be heard as they approach, but as she weeps, no one speaks. Until finally, Pronciana approaches her, leaning down, placing a hand on Feyerin's cooling black forehead.
Can you help him, sister? Can you save him?
Her bronze hair lays softly around her pointed ears. She looks back toward the others.
What has happened here?
The song voice of the goddess Prevalian rings off from the cavernous walls. Dimvarga looks up toward her, tall, slender, and beautiful, like perfect porcelain. Prevalian reaches her hand toward Dimvarga's face, and as Prevalian's light shines around her, she lets go, and the goddess sees everything. Her lies, her love, and now her loss. Stepping up beside Prevalian comes the golden form of her beloved, Palor, as well as the stout silver presence of Dervetter. She shifts, looking at each in turn. Countless words pass between them in an instant, and then they look on Dimvarga, the shapeless, and the dead corpse of her beloved, and they weep for her. They all weep for her. Don't just weep, gods. Do something. Can't you see she's in pain? Save the elf. Bring him back. They can't, Messinkuma. Otonia steps toward them from the darkness, her head bowed in shame.
He's beyond their reach. I sent his soul somewhere they can't find him. I sent him to the void.
Silence rests between them at her words.
If I had come to myself sooner, perhaps we could have saved him in time. But I fear it has now been too long. As time passes in this plane, and his soul.
The gods close their eyes, quiet tears running down their cheeks. Tears for Dimvarga, for their daughter.
Why, beloved? Why would ye do such a thing?
Otonia does not look him in the eye.
I'm sorry, my love. I lost myself. But I will try.
Slowly she approaches the two of them on the cold floor. As Dimvarga weeps silently into his dark hair, Otonia places a warm hand on them both.
Remember your love, Dimvarga. And maybe, just maybe, he will hear it, feel it, and return.
The orange light of Otonia's power warms them, and Dimvarga remembers. His eyes on her as she plays in the tower of Prevalian. His name on her lips beneath the kapok tree. His laughter as he sips orange juice in her small chamber. His eyes burning as he leans in to kiss her for the first time. And the golden cord wrapping their wrists together, becoming one in body, soul, and spirit.
I, Zerluan and Ballad, the elf in light, choose you, Dolania Moonbow, as my life love, my companion, and my wife. I vow to be yours for as long as life may keep you, and to await you in the life hereafter. I am yours, and you are mine.
She holds completely still as he stirs in her arms, and no one speaks. He shifts, stretching, and his eyes pop open, a deep and strange purple. Ah, hello. He pulls himself up and out of her arms, and she watches him with bated breath.
Hey, Aaron?
He turns his head toward her, those purple eyes gleaming in the dark.
Feyeren.
He turns, looking around at all of those surrounding them.
Oh, wait. Is that me? Am I Feyeren? I'm afraid I can't exactly recall.
Looking up at the gods of Manumi, he says,
Where exactly are we at the moment? And who, might I ask, are all of you?
Pleading, Dimvarga looks up at the gods once more.
Please, please help him. Can't you help him?
Help me? Well, I do admit I've felt better. Or I think I have, anyhow. But I seem to be all right,
he says, his voice light and unknowing. The gods are silent, all eyes falling on Otonia.
We can't. They can't. Not now. They've already done too much being here. The gods are beholden to our own laws, Dimvarga. And we may not raise a hand against another. And I'm sorry, but I've done all that I can,
she says, looking at her brethren and her beloved. Otonia turns, and begins floating up toward the cavernous ceiling above.
No, wait, please! He is broken. He is gone. Please help him. Please, I beg of you.
But her prayers they would not hear. They join their fellow goddess above them, and turning down toward them one last time, Atonia holds up a single hand, her palm an orange light, and she says,
Remember your pain, no more our faithful.
Zerluan and Ballad, the shade, stands quietly in an endless white space. Before him is a shimmering figure, much in the image of the goddess of spring.
This is who you were, Phaeron, and who you are, Zerluan. But who will you become?
I should never have come here.
The form of the pearl nods.
Yes. Perhaps it would have been less painful to live in blissful ignorance. And yet there are many more years, eons of an endless life given by fate and without intent. A life with no escape, no death. It will all come to you in time. For now, you remember, and you forever shall.
She steps closer to him, placing a long, slender hand, a prism of shimmering light, upon his dark cheek.
And now, one final question remains.
His eyes close, feeling the warmth of her light.
What will you do, Zerluan, Phaeron?
Far away, in millennia beyond, inside the rickety walls of the quarters of Captain Joseph Stormbright, aboard the Careen, he knows what he will do, what he must do. And he opens his eyes, piercing blue. Footsteps splash across the water, his feet stopping just inches below on some invisible surface. The still ocean runs out as far as the eye can see, an endless horizon of blue sea and a white sky.
Thank you for coming, Blaze.
The sing-song voice of Prevalian flows around him as he turns to see her, flawless and lovely before him.
Your Majesty Prevalian, I am humbled by your presence.
Blaze Blightwood kneels before the goddess of spring in the realm of Prevalian.
As you may know, I have called you here for a purpose.
He stands once more, looking on his goddess with love.
Anything you ask, my lady, I will gladly give my life to perform.
She gives him a full and beautiful smile.
I have not come to take your life, Blaze. Rather, I would like to give you life. The Aunt o Prevalian, your people have called it, or the Aunt o Kuil. But unlike the others who have received it,
she says, circling him in the water,
yours will be unique. If you will pledge yourself to me now, Blaze, then I will ensure that no mortal harm will ever come to you. You will live life upon life, century upon century. There is but one catch,
she says, pausing in front of him again with a hand on his shoulder.
You will live each generation like it is your first. You will not remember this moment, this pact between us, until a distant day, thousands of years from now, when I will at once restore it to your mind.
She draws from the air at her back a long greatsword, the oiled blade wrapped in a pristine white cloth. He takes the sword in his hands, looking at her in awe.
My goddess, this truly is a gift beyond my reckoning. Am I worthy of such a reward?
Her smile slips in the slightest, revealing a shade of regret behind her eyes.
A reward? Yes. I suppose it is a reward at that. In the eons to come, I will visit you from time to time, and through the millennia, you shall become worthy, Blaze. And when the time comes for you to step forward as the champion of Prevalian,
she says, leaning down toward him and placing her forehead on his,
I will give you my Eternus. This is my will, Blaze. This is my love.
Pulling back, Blaze looks into her endless eyes.
I accept, my lady. I am your servant for all time. I am yours, and you are mine.
She nods, the smallest of tears running down her porcelain cheek.
Yes, Blaze, for all time.
And she presses her lips to his. You've been listening to Make Believe Heroes, Episode 21, The Ballad of Zerluan. I hope that after all this time, you have all enjoyed listening to this as much as I enjoyed writing and creating it. But this one I could not have made without some help from a number of friends. Here are the credits for all of our guest voices in the episode. Elevonre Honorius, voiced by Alan Boone. Zerluan and Ballad, voiced by Jeremy Bird. Dolania Moonbow, or Dimvarga, voiced by Taylor Bird. The Pearl of Remembrance, voiced by Shareya Lilo. Torel Solarin, voiced by Sam Trackpad Sharples. King Gimreed of Clan Frostbeard, voiced by Chaz Egnew. Elaine of Clan Hammerheart, voiced by Sarah Peach Shannon. Dreamond of Clan Shattershield, voiced by Mason Atwood. General Barlin, voiced by Ryan Amishpapa Zwemke. Perrin, voiced by Zach Lobb. Sweet, voiced by Felicia Shirley. Venthaven Soldier Eleanor, voiced by Taylor Atwood. Cleric Nightingale, voiced by Caroline Zwemke. Priestess Elevera, voiced by Laura Zwemke. Narration and various other voices by the DM, me, Paul Shirley. In the coming weeks, we'll announce dates for a live Q&A for patrons. So if you have any remaining questions, and I'm sure some of you do, make sure to have them ready. Thank you so much for listening. We'll see you next week.